Welcome to the IDP Hunter Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Hungarter, and tonight I'm going to talk about defensive backs. Why you need them, or why you don't need them, rather. Why you can just go ahead and punt those guys until later rounds of drafts. I've been saying it for years. I've been telling people it's not a smart move to go early on defensive backs. I totally get it if you want to. It's your team. Build it how you want. However, there's strategies involved in IDP. And one of the major strategies that I tend to do is I tend to go linebackers and elite defensive linemen first. Then I punt the defensive back position. Why? Well, I'm going to tell you the points per defensive back per game. It's razor thin. It's really thin. Another reason that I wait so long on those guys is each season the volatility is just so back and forth. Very rarely do you see a player ever repeat the following season. So you don't have a lot of guys like elite players that will repeat the next year. So just be mindful of that when you're looking at DBs. The other thing too, it's all situational. It's situational based on where the quarterback wants to throw. So there are some games where guys will get blanked out. There are some that don't. A lot of us savvy defensive backs, we're mindful of this. And what we do is we don't necessarily look for the pass deflection or the interception or the big play. Mind you, we look for guys in those tackle spots, in those green dot positions or in them box safety roles. And that's what this podcast is going to bring you. I'm going to kind of explain my defensive back philosophy. And I'm going to give you not one, not two, not three, but 4 defensive backs that I'm highly coveting. All of these players are past tier 2. They're on the back end, later round of drafts. So if you want to do what I do, stack up on premium positions, you can get these guys way after DB 24, 22, 24 range, depending on your draft format. Of course, you know, I'm looking at tackles, so that's why I have the players that I do. But again, going back to that, your scoring format matters, your context matters. Defensive backs are more so dart throws anyway, like we talk about. Even more so nowadays when you look at your league settings. You know, if you only have 2 to 3 defensive backs, why not wait and take a shot at the guys I'm about to reveal to you? Okay. Finally, when you look at your leagues and you see that you can get away with waivers each week, a cornerback safety spot, it just makes no sense to use high draft premium on players like that. You look at your waiver wires, you know, running backs, wide receivers is where the money's at. Why would you spend it on defensive back? And finally, if I'm not convincing enough with the volatility and just the guessing game of the position and the waiver aspect, I'm going to say one more point, and I'm going to kind of just go on to my players here. When you're looking at the modern day NFL, most teams are in defensive schemes that look like dimes or nickels. And that used to be a sub package when I was growing up. Now it's the premium, it's the primary package. And then all the other stuffs are subs now, the 4-3s, 3-4s, mind you. So if you know teams are in nickels and dimes a lot, that third safety on a team or that cornerback slot that plays as the third linebacker, because we're not playing a lot of linebackers anymore, all of a sudden, you know, used to play 32 to 64 linebackers. Now all of a sudden, more and more of these players are in the mix. So again, going back to my original strategy, there's only, 42 linebackers that are every down players right now, and maybe 15 or more or another 75% snap count. Why not take those guys first? Get those guys off the board. Why not take those guys first and then come back around and get all these dime a dozen defensive backs? If you don't believe me, let me just go to my list and I will kind of talk some of these guys up to you. Let me know what you're thinking. I'm kind of doing this podcast a little different. I kind of just want to get the name value out there. So like I said, I'm going to give you 4 this week. So I don't have any guests on. I kind of want to do this one myself. And like I said, every name I have, they're later round guys. Okay. So I hope you enjoy this list that I'm about to give you. We're going to start with Reed Blankenship. Okay. Reed Blankenship, his ADP right now, He's going way off boards in sleeper drafts. He's going at the DB 31. Reed Blankenship, going back, let's go back to 2022, his rookie year. CJ Garner got injured during the Super Bowl run. That forced Blankenship into lineups, okay? He performed really good. He recorded a couple interceptions. I know he had that big one against Aaron Rodgers, the primetime game. Got Deebo Samuel to fumble in the NFC Championship game. He started getting a lot of thunder. Then we go to last year. Still kind of unheard of, but he was still a top 15 rank. At least that's where we had him. Blankenship led the entire defense in tackles last year with 113. That just goes to show you how bad the linebacker unit was. But he also led it with interceptions of 3. And he also had, I think he was third ranked in pass breakups too. He may not be the biggest player in the world. A lot of people treat him as a third safety, but he's a solid tackle and cover man. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for players like this deep, and they're just buried. For some reason, these guys are buried in drafts, and I just can't figure out why. Like, why are maybe it's this time of year. Maybe Sleeper just doesn't have an idea of some of these guys and why they are they're valued the way they are. So yeah, why not take a shot at Reed Blankenship? Like I said, he's a common name right now. I think it's more of a sleeper glitch, but with him, you can get him super, super late. So that's my argument there with him. Why not chase upside with other positions? Why not go and get somebody that you think is more at a premium position? And what I mean by premium, I'm talking about defensive linemen, elite, those guys. Or how about linebackers? When I see guys go early in drafts, they tend to lose. Again, and I'm not knocking it. Everybody has their own style, their own flavor at this. I'm going to go to my second player, okay? My second player is Josh Metellus. He's actually DB 22 ranked right now. And I just don't understand it. I don't understand it, guys. Maybe you guys know more than me. I understand there's Harrison Smith there. I understand Cam Byron's getting all the attention. But, Josh Metellus is used all over the field. He's actually a weapon for the Vikings. As that third safety, he comes down. He plays that linebacker role. Let me just read some stats to you if you haven't been following me all year. I have a lot of stats on him. I've been keeping an eye on him. He plays that third linebacker role. He plays the safety. He plays a nickelback. They interviewed him. Brian Flores interviewed him, and they're like, hey, what position do you play? And his answer was anything they need me to. So I take Josh Metellus everywhere in drafts. He's a weapon all over the field, like I was saying. Last year, he played 255 box snaps, which was impressive. And then he had an extra, he finished second on the team in tackles with 116. And then he tied for first. He tied for first with forced fumbles. And then he was second. He was second tied for tackles for a loss. A lot of people consider this a crowded defensive back. They consider this a crowded defensive back room. I don't think so. Not at all. Considering what they want to do here, they know what they want to do. They know what it's going to take to make it work. So why not consider Josh Metellus? It just makes no sense not to. The other point I wanted to make with Josh Metellus is Brian Flores was the most blitz-happy player, defensive coach for the Vikings. He was all over the place last year. So it's safe to say, all those stats I just read, it's safe to say that that Metellus, he may be up for a couple big plays next year. They might have something up the scheme, maybe some sacks, if you will. But Josh Metellus is a guy I've been eyeing last year. I didn't really understand the play because I had to watch a couple games. I had to watch a couple schemes. I had to figure out kind of where they were using them and why they were using them. And after like week 4 or 5, I figured out, you know what? They're just going to put this joker all over the field because they can get away with it. They can get away with using him everywhere. So why not? Why not take advantage of a special talent that he is? What did I just say? It was DB 22? So you can wait way long in drafts. Most of your drafts, they'll be almost done, right? He'll probably be the last flex spot that you can get away with. And Blankenship was even lower. Now, if you don't think those two guys were deep enough, I'm going to give you two even deeper players coming up. And they both share a common thing. Right now, in the offseason, before the preseason, we have these little mini camp battles. What's good about mini camps, not a lot of press is going on right now. A lot of people aren't paying attention to these mini camps. Beat reporters are, they're at the gates, they're watching these plays and whatnot, but most casual fans are not. This is where the bread and butter is made. This is when the bakeries are created. This is when money is made with the lines and depth charts. This is the time to actually start watching and see how schemes are made. Okay, y'all know what a green dot is because I've done a couple articles on that. A lot of these players, mostly linebackers, are in line to get the green dot. Well, if the green dot isn't something that they feel confident with the linebackers with, which these two rooms have that in common, the green dot is very likely going to be given to the safety. So there's a player here that I want to start with, okay? The first one of these green dot possibilities is a guy named Julian Love. Julian Love is DB 27 off boards, which is kind of crazy to me. This is probably the biggest deal out of all the four guys I'm going to mention to you. At DB 27, he just had his first Pro Bowl last year, the first one in his career, because he was brought over from the Giants. He had a first full-time role, and in his first full-time role, he set career highs. He had 4 interceptions, he had 10 pass defenses. But the key stat I want you to know right here, he had 103 tackles, while also playing a big role, special teams and all the other stuff. If you don't play in special team leagues, I'm sure it doesn't matter. But the 103 tackles does. Context matters here. 103 tackles, playing a little bit of a box safety kind of role. It's being talked up right now in camps. Right now, as we are sitting here, in May or the end of May, there's a couple linebackers in camp. There's a rookie with promise, Tyrese Knight. They're moving him to outside linebacker for time being. So you got a guy named Jerome Baker, who is a linebacker who mostly plays the other outside. He's more of an edge pass, whatever. He's not a really good tackler. So I don't even consider him for green dot possibility. They do have a guy that can play the inside. His name is Tyrell Dotson. And I've been talking a little bit about Tyrell Dotson. PFF loves Tyrell Dotson. In fact, they have him ranked as heavily graded, like 90 percentile, 90.77. But I have concerns with him, and I'm sure a lot of fans do. My concern with him is if he was so highly ranked, so highly coveted, why the heck didn't the Bills re-sign him? And also, why the heck was he benched a couple times last year? If you guys remember all the backstories on that, do y'all remember during the year? All the linebackers, it was like musical chairs when Milano went down. So I have huge reservations with those guys. I really do. It's feasible that Love can come in here day one and take this green dot away. I mean, I can see it coming. I don't see Jerome Baker as a threat. I don't see what's the other guy's name? There's one more linebacker there. The young rookie Tyrese Knight's not a threat. A lot of these other guys are edges. And again, Dotson doesn't really strike fear in my mind. And again, his PFF grade, aside, that's really the only thing that I think is promising there. So it's going to be between him and Dotson. So why not give it to the defensive back who A, already showed that he can tackle, B, he can play the box, C, he can play well and call the plays. And they were so happy with Love last year. They were so darn happy with this guy that they ended up not re-signing Jamal Adams, right? So obviously they like this guy a whole heck of a lot. So I figure, why not consider Julian Love with your DB 27? I have him in a lot of places. So you can get him super, super late, super, super cheap. And that's what this podcast is about. Hopefully you guys can get a lot of players deeper and later and smarter than some of where your friends get them. I'm going to tell you, somebody just watching this podcast alone is probably going to make money. And I only wanted to do 4 today because if I would have did more, I'm sure this would have went a little bit over. So I just wanted to kind of do a short video with y'all. Now, this next one, I don't have an ADP on. And the reason I don't is because your scoring is going to dictate. Your scoring is going to dictate how you feel about Amani Hooker, okay? Amani Hooker has a little bit to talk about here, okay? With Amani Hooker, okay, he right now is being treated as a potential green dot candidate. He told the press that and the coaching staff, he doesn't mind if you guys want to give him the green dot, he'll do it if called upon. If you look at the way mini caps are going right now, you have Kenneth Murray down there, and beat writers and mini camps are saying he's not expected to wear the green dot. So the opportunity's there for the rookie Cedric Gray. But come on, man. Cedric Gray's a rookie, okay? He's got competition. He's got competition with Jack Gibbons and Otis Reese, which I'm not saying he won't beat that out. So certainly if it's not the rookie Cedric Gray calling the plays, it's going to be Amani Hooker who's asking for it right now. I mean, I don't know about you. He's asking the coaches for it. He wants the opportunity to succeed. Now, here's the thing about Hooker. Hooker isn't this isn't his first time around. Hooker is actually pretty darn valuable. Hooker had himself a season last year. He really did. Hooker was injured a little bit last year, so you can't really hold that against him per se. When turnover last year, the Titans had one of the worst situations. They had like over 30 different starters on defense at one point. So it was a little ridiculous down there. So Amani Hooker wasn't a problem. He just got injured. If you look at the man's stats, he was putting it up all last year for the Titans. Again, the problem with Hooker has been not his consistency, but his ability to get hurt. I would not, if you see this guy coming in later on and challenging. We did another podcast with Big Steve from the RPO network, and he was predicting Amani Hooker as a sleeper, as a potential breakout. The problem with that is I see Hooker already broke out. He just got hurt halfway through the year. Had he played an entire work of art, had he played a whole entire season, if you had a whole bunch of stats to look at on him, you would have seen it yourself. And I just want to pull the stats for the audience on Spotify, for the audience on YouTube. I'm literally just pulling stats off of line, so that's why I'm kind of just going on about Amani Hooker right here. Amani Hooker was averaging 6.8 tackles last year, and then he ended up missing 4 games. So he ended up on the season with 85 tackles, and 69 of those were solos. So I say it again, 85 tackles and 69 of those are solos. That's pretty darn impressive. He's a solo tackling monster. He doesn't need any help there. The reason I keep bringing up the 85 tackles, 69 solos, is that's what I chase. I chase the tackles. Just like these other 3 guys, he's right there up there with them. If you take the 4 games out. So why this matters, if we gave Amani Hooker a full season with that 6.8 tackles per game, he would have ended up with 111 tackles, right? That would have been tied for 10th amongst DBs. So he would have been right there with Daxton Hill. So again, context matters with this stuff. There's a lot of good sure-handed tacklers. If you're in a scoring format that favors it, wait. And even when you're thinking about defensive back, wait again. I guarantee one of 4 of these guys is going to show up on your in one of your leagues. Hopefully, between Hooker, who is way out there ADP, Julian Love, ADP DB 27, and then the other guys DB 22 and what have you. You got a long and deep draft ahead of you. It makes no sense to me to go early. Some people do, and some people end up turning out okay. But again, like I said, with these guys, be mindful of dart throws, be mindful of the volatility, the position changing, be mindful that on waivers, don't get mad when you see a bunch of guys on waivers, right? And then last but not least, the NFL has changed. So a lot more of these guys are playing now. This just proves it. But again, you want a 100 tackle safety, you don't have to go early. In fact, you can wait very, very long this year. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast as I enjoy doing them. We'll keep grinding out sleepers throughout the year. As you know, I like to feast on linebackers and defensive linemen, but we got sleepers in there too. So we got a ton of work over here at Fantasy Six Pack. I hope you enjoy our award-winning rankings. Every single one of us over here has brought the trophy home. I was the number 4 IDP ranker last year. Joe Bonda's offense, we're number 3 rankers. We have golf, we have baseball, we have everything you can think of. So, give us a like, give us a shout, consider subscribing. And last but not least, check out the articles. The articles are well done by the staff, well done by all of us here. And it's a pleasure doing these pods with you. I'm Steve Hungarter at IDP Hunter. You guys can follow me on Twitter. I just wanted to go about this one alone this week, kind of just putting defensive backs into a different perspective. I'm not a fan of them, but I do know I need them. I need them for my roster. And if you're going to wait deep into drafts, why not wait a little bit longer? Okay? Have a good night. Take care. And remember, wait on this position because it's super deep. Take care.